Another massive fight would be Ilia versus Islam too.
Of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, Salim is obsessed with that fight.
Oh, really?
He's obsessed with it. And I tell him, I'm like, but they both got to win more fights in their division first, right? That's kind of how you do it, right? When it's like they both run through their division, and then it's like you're in the position where it's like, I got to make this. That's what happened with Volk Islam, right?
Well, the other thing is too is that Islam moves up, and obviously if Islam won the title, you know, you immediately have a super fight with him and Ilia. So
could that be if Islam gets one victory? Could that potentially happen?
You have to see. It's one thing to sit around. This is what the media always tries to do: sit around and talk about these fights before they happen, or, you know, hypothetically speaking. I don't like hypothetical.
Mm-hmm.
These are options that we have if things play out that way, but you never know what's going to happen.
Islam Makhachev created excitement in the MMA world by expressing his interest in facing Ilia Topuria. After winning the welterweight title, all MMA fans were eager to witness this fight. And now there seems to be some hope. During the Eagle FC press conference, Islam Makhachev shared that after dealing with Jack Della Maddalena, he is looking toward a possible super fight. With Ilia Topuria, Makhachev acknowledged the real excitement around this matchup and described it as a fight that motivates him, suggesting that fans might witness one of the biggest champion versus champion showdowns in UFC history.
Твой следующий бой после Маддалены пройдет в 77?
Не могу сказать точно. Есть Топурия какая-то, интрига. Мне самому тоже интересен этот бой. Может получится сделать какой-то супербой. Или, как я сказал, посмотрим по весу.
Islam gave a hint about going back to 155 to face Ilia Topuria after someone at the press conference asked if he would drop down and beat Topuria. To finally silence him, his response was bold and immediately got the crowd excited.
Также хотел бы попросить тебя вернуться в легкий вес, чтобы ты уничтожил Топурию, и он наконец-то заткнулся и не говорил ничего о бойцах из Дагестана. Ислам Макхачев чемпион!
Как ты хочешь, все сделаем.
Islam Makhachev also spoke about his current weight and how comfortable he feels at welterweight. During the Eagle FC press conference, he mentioned that before his last training camp, he walked around at about 183 to 185 pounds. But with proper training and diet, he now stays close to 189 pounds. Makhachev said this is the weight where he feels strong, sharp, and able to spar with natural welterweights. He also mentioned that gaining more size is no longer his main goal, since his recent camp already prepared him well for competing at a heavier weight.
What is your weight now? How much did your weight change, and how did your physical condition, your physical preparation change? You know, up until last camp, I think my weight was about 83, 84. But now with the right regimen, with the right diet, my weight is now 86 and a half. Yesterday was 86 and a half. I think right now I'm where I need to be. I'm at the right weight. I'm at the place where I feel comfortable with working out, sparring, and working with the guys that usually fight at 77. To continue to gain the weight from now on is not necessarily the goal of mine. I mean, it might go up by 1 or 2 kgs in training still, but we've already done plenty of work during this camp with heavyweights to make sure to gain the proper weight that we need.
The former lightweight champion also talked about a possible return to lightweight after making his welterweight debut. He admitted that cutting to 155 has never been easy and said the choice will depend on how his body feels after the fight. Makhachev explained that if his weight goes up to 85 or 86 kilos, he and his team will need to sit down and decide what to do next.
Consider going back down to lightweight because with everything you said, most likely cutting weight is going to be only harder. Depends on how much weight I'll gain after the fight. So if I'm going to go up to 83 or 84, that's possible. But if I'll go up to 85, 86, then I'm not sure. I mean, it was never an easy thing to cut weight. So we'll have to sit down with the team and we'll have to figure out what the next move is.
Similarly, Ilia Topuria also showed interest in fighting Islam Makhachev at the White House, calling it a special stage to put on a fight for the American fans. He made it clear that he is ready if the opportunity comes, but said he doubts Islam will return to lightweight, saying that once fighters move up in weight, they usually do not cut back down.
You versus Islam on the White House card would be insane. Would you want to fight at the White House? Or
why not? I would love to fight in front of the United States of America.
Yeah.
I would love it. We'll see what's
But it's a year away, right?
It's a year away.
That could be perfect timing for you and Islam, though. What weight would that go down at now, though?
Like, what do you mean? When it
Like
could
what
happen?
weight? What weight class? Yeah.
I don't care with him.
He
I
couldn't
don't
come
really
back
care.
down to 155.
Once you try to go up, you never want to come back.
Yeah.
It's like
It's hell, right?
it's hell.
Yeah.
It's hell. I had to go through hell when I was cutting the weight in 145, and now that I decide to stay in 155, it's like two different worlds. I have been able to enjoy the whole process. I've been more happier.
However, Arman Tsarukyan emphasized that Ilia Topuria should fight him before anyone compares him to Islam Makhachev. He argued that Topuria's path has been easier and that his biggest wins came against fighters who were past their prime. Arman also said that if Topuria had faced Alexander Volkanovski a few years earlier, the outcome would have been completely different, with Volkanovski clearly dominating the fight.
If he beat me, he's gonna be on the same level as Islam. He gotta beat like someone like me, you know, who can wrestle. He just had easy fights on his career, you know. He beat legit fighters, but not on their prime. If he met Volkanovski 4 years ago, Volkanovski just eat him.
Islam Makhachev also admitted that the fight that makes the most sense at lightweight right now is Ilia Topuria versus Arman Tsarukyan. He explained that Arman has already proven himself as a strong contender and deserves the chance. Makhachev added that if Tsarukyan enters the fight with the right mindset, he has the skills to defeat Ilia.
На твой взгляд, сейчас самый справедливый бой за чемпионство в легком весе между Илией Топурией и Арманом Царукяном?
Ну да, конечно. Если кто-то когда-то, не знаю, в истории страховал бой, делал вес, он всегда дрался почти. Ну, я не помню в истории, чтобы не давали бой. Арман сделал последний турнир вес, подстраховал бой, и я думаю, он должен быть следующий. Он доказал, что у него же была проблема с весогонкой. Он доказал, что может спускаться, гонять вес. И я думаю, что это самый актуальный бой на данный момент.
У кого было бы больше всего шансов на победу?
Ну, я думаю, если честно, если Арман выйдет с правильным настроем, то он справится.
Charles Oliveira also believes that Arman Tsarukyan should be the next challenger for Ilia Topuria's title. He noted that Arman is the #1 ranked contender and has already earned his shot. Oliveira also reminded everyone that Arman was supposed to fight for the belt before, but had to withdraw due to an injury, making him the rightful choice now.
Você imaginaria que seria uma luta interessante e que causaria talvez uma dificuldade pro Topuria?
Cara, não vou te falar nem de dificuldade, nem interessante. Eu acho que o cara que merece isso é o Arman, o número 1 do ranking. Então, o Arman merece essa luta. Sabe, tá esperando ali, ele lutar pelo título, teve lesão, saiu, então acho que é o Arman.
Khamzat Chim also said that the fight between Ilia Topuria and Arman Tsarukyan needs to happen this year. He called it a perfect matchup, with Arman's wrestling going against striking to show who is really the best. Although close to both fighters, Khams admitted he is excited to see them face each other in the cage.
There we go. Let's go, Arman! Let's go, Arman! Come on, boy! Armansky! 400 throws. He's only keeping on 400. Only 400? Yeah. Smart boy. Bro. Smart boy. Here has to be make records to be a smart. In the cage you can be smart. But here, bro.
Carter's only doing 200. What's wrong with your friend here? He's only doing 200.
Give me music from.
Let's go. Carter, you stopping on me? Let's go. That's your 2 minutes? Right there. Right there, 2 minutes.
Если не делаю, хороший hard work будет, брат.
400, брат, как Гарри тренер.
700 делал я.
Wait down, see how low? I need 400.
On the other hand, former UFC champion Khabib Nurmagomedov shared his thoughts on Ilia Topuria's next move and was sure the UFC is setting up a fight with Arman Tsarukyan. He spoke with confidence, not speculation, pointing out that Topuria often declines fights publicly before accepting them. When asked how he knew Khabib, explained it comes from his friendship with Arman's wrestling coach, saying his information comes from someone close to the team.
You know, you're kind of friends with Ilia too, and you know, you're friends with Arman. Do you see them fighting this year?
I hope so. It's a good fight for the both guys. So fighting is, we need to know who is the best fighter in the world. So the both guys is best fighters now. So I will be happy to watch that fight. Yeah, it's a crazy fight. Arman is good moves. Like, he has a good kick, good wrestling, and the other guy has a good jiu-jitsu, a good puncher, you know. So it would be cool. vital fight.
Khabib Nurmagomedov saw Ilia Topuria's recent comments as a strong sign that a fight with Arman Tsarukyan is likely being arranged. He noted that Ilia often rejects fights publicly at first, but ends up accepting them, which usually means the matchup is already underway. He compared this to small habits fighters show in the cage, saying this habit of denying fights is starting to build up. The only exception he mentioned is Paddy Pimblett, whose name Ilia never refuses.
Side of illness or even if I'm breaking news to you, then I'm not sharing my opinion. I'm sharing a fact with you. It's Arman versus Ilia. That is 100% the plan.
What makes you so confident 100% sure is going to be Arman Tsarukyan getting the shot? I've said that, I'm pretty sure I said I'd eat that hat behind me if his next fight was for a title, just because it seems so grim, Chael.
Sure.
What has changed?
Well, there's a couple things. I mean, first off, I'm obviously coming to you with information that whether I should have or I shouldn't. Secondly, I was the best man in his wedding. His name's Daryl Christian, and he's the wrestling coach of Arman Tsarukyan. Third, I just spoke to Coach Cal. I wanted to come out and I wanted to film Chimaev training, and it turns out that Tsarukyan's in the room.
Gillis Simon drew a comparison between Ilia Topuria's behavior and Anderson Silva's past promotional style. He remembered how Anderson would often start by dismissing a possible fight, then accept it later and create uncertainty with rumors of injury, before finally confirming the match. In Gillis' view, Ilia seems to follow a similar pattern, whether on purpose or subconsciously.
Bigger tell also was what Ilia did a week ago, which is said, I don't want to fight. And the greats always, they don't even know they have it. They don't even, coaches will break them down. It's the same with technique. A coach will have to break, hey, he slips here before he throws hook. Chuck Liddell had a big thing that he would blink before he threw punches. I'm just sharing, like, everybody has something that gets them going. Your job is to go find out what it is, but it's not any different in promotion. Ilia's first move for doing a fight is to deny the fight. The only person that he's ever openly said, I'll fight, is Paddy. Everybody else that he's getting ready to fight, he denies. It's just as a
Arman Tsarukyan also hinted at a possible title fight with Ilia Topuria. While saying he was still waiting to hear from the UFC, he joked that Khabib Nurmagomedov might actually know more about the situation than he did. In his opinion, Ilia was avoiding the fight because of the risk involved and preferred to go after easier high-profile opponents instead of defending the belt against him.
Anderson would always deny the fight. He'd let that run for about 2 weeks. He would then accept the fight. He would let that run for about a month. He would then slip an injury report to the media where you think the fight is off. It's not going to happen. He'd get his run out of that, and then he'd come out and tell everybody I'm fine and it's on. I'm only sharing. That was his system. 100% of his fights, he built the same way. Ilia's not any different, whether he knows it about himself or not. But Ilia's first move when he's going to fight a guy, aside from Paddy, is to say, I'm not fighting.
On the other hand, Dan Hooker revealed that doctors have officially cleared him to return in November, and he already has his sights set on Arman Tsarukyan. Hooker said there is no one ranked between them willing to take the fight, and he is ready to step up and challenge one of the toughest rising contenders in the division.
I wanna fight for the title. I've been waiting so long, and Son maybe knows something.
Yeah. How do you know if those conversations about a title fight are ongoing with the UFC?
They didn't tell anything yet to me. So I'm just still waiting, training, and trying to call out Ilia as much as possible.
Yeah, we've seen some of the tweets towards Ilia. They've been funny. I enjoyed the duck video that he did. What do you make of the fact that he says he would rather give up the belt than fight you? That you just don't deserve it. He doesn't want to do it.
I mean, he feels that he's gonna lose that fight, and it's better to give the belt and then go up or wait when what happened with me, because he knows just I'm a big problem for him, and I'm gonna get his title. He knows that, and he wants to get easy fight with Perry or Gage or with someone, just make money and to defend. But with me, it's gonna be hard for him.
Dan Hooker previously said that many top contenders in the lightweight division were trying to avoid fighting Arman Tsarukyan. He did not see it as personal, but thought Arman was simply one of the toughest matchups around. In his opinion, many fighters gave public reasons to avoid the fight, while the real cause was Arman's skills that could make anyone look bad inside the cage.
He said you had ducked him, but I've heard you call his name many times over the years. So there's that chat.
It just didn't work out. I'm cleared to fight in November. That fight was in October. I never even got offered that fight because I told the UFC that I don't have medical clearance. So I'm cleared for November. All he had to do was kind of sit and wait a couple of weeks. But, it's just the stars didn't like. I want that Arman. I think he's a scumbag, monobrow loser. That. And I'll knee him right in I'll cave his face right in. That's on the cards. There's not a single other fighter in the top 5 or anyone ranked between me and him that even wants that fight. Like, no one, he's the number 1 contender. No one gives a flying about.
Rampage Jackson's son, Roger Jackson, has recently been in the spotlight, unfortunately, not for positive reasons. The 25-year-old was involved in a violent incident at a Knox Pro Wrestling show, where he launched a vicious attack on fellow wrestler Stuart Smith. Witnesses say Jackson slammed Smith to the ground and followed up with over 20 strikes, leaving him unconscious and rushed to the hospital. Many are even
is a very good fighter, and now all those big name guys they've got a good excuse to not fight him. Like Ilia said, he's not going to fight him. The UFC says that he needs one more. That's always the fight I want, and not because he's a prick and I hate him, but because I genuinely think that he's the hardest fight, and all those big name guys have like an excuse to not fight him, because I think he is the best at winning fights. Like, he's not necessarily the most dangerous fighter. Like, Oliver is very dangerous, Gaethje's very dangerous. I think he's the best at winning fights, and so a lot of these guys have a justifiable reason to avoid fighting him.
Murder. Interview 2. Roger Jackson, along with his father Rampage Jackson, eventually broke their silence about the controversy during a live stream. Roger pointed fingers at the cameraman, claiming that things spiraled out of control because the filming never stopped and the broadcast kept rolling instead of being cut off. Interview 3. Rampage Jackson also spoke out about the situation between his son.
The other contenders is Gaethje, who wants to fight for the title, because if I beat him, he's not gonna say anything about title, or Paddy, those 2 names. But Hooker, he's not on the title contender, but still, if they give me those 3 names, I'll fight. But they gotta tell me, if you beat this guy, you're gonna fight for the title, and they're not gonna make fight Paddy versus Ilia and me versus someone, because I wanna fight as soon as possible and then go to the title fight.
Revealing that he's been flooded with death threats since the incident. According to him, a lot of those messages came from people hurling racist abuse, accusing him of being a bad parent, and even suggesting he was secretly pulling the strings behind what happened. Rampage pushed back, saying the backlash is unjust and
Ilia is special. I'm not saying that he's not. But if he lost to them, there's a massive market opportunity lost there, because Ilia versus Islam, Ilia with the rise, Ilia still being in a lot of people's minds, the featherweight champion against the lightweight champion, there's something there. And yeah, if he loses to Gaethje, but then 2-3 fights later gets a shot, it's not quite the same sell. The public wouldn't be quite as still invested. So I think they're going to give him the title fight. I think Islam's going to
twist his words against him. Interview 4. Many figures in the MMA community also reacted with shock to Roger Jackson's reckless behavior, with several suggesting that some
Islam and Ilia Topuria go at it. Who you think wins?
Ilia Topuria may be one of my favorite guys to watch stylistically. How he doesn't force things, not getting emotional, not pushing too hard, also not taking his foot off the gas. He's just right there in the middle until he lands the big knockout punch. So I think he could catch Islam, but if that fight goes anything past 15 minutes, I think Islam beats him handedly, just because Islam is a large 155er, and I don't think Ilia is that big. But ton of respect for both of those guys, especially Ilia.
Only way for him to learn a lesson. Analyst MMA Guru went even further, describing Roger Jackson as acting like an animal who deserved to be behind bars. He condemned the assault as a savage barrage of unanswered strikes.
Take him down. It won't be easy to get the takedown, but he will be constantly looking for takedowns. Once he gets it, he'll probably just squeeze him and smush him, and it'd be a decision victory.
Saying it almost looked like an attempt to take the man's life. Guru did, however, applaud the bystander with pink hair for stepping in to break things up while criticizing everyone else for failing to act. He ended his comments by saying that Raja has...
People probably think I'm crazy, but I think Ilia can get it done.
Okay.
He's one of my favorite guys to watch right now. His distance game. I mean, if you've seen him when he was like 6 or 7-0 at Brave before the UFC, he would just take guys down and just grapple. You know, I think that was his biggest strength. That's why I'm so impressed with that guy, because for him to be as good in striking in a short amount of time, understanding the game.
This is how he behaves. Interview 5. Veteran fighter Matt Brown didn't hold back when weighing in on Roger Jackson's assault. He argued that if Roger weren't the son of Rampage Jackson, nobody would be offering him
Islam Makhachev. He's probably going to walk in the cage. I think he was around 180, 181. Ilia Topuria has never thrown a kick above the waist. Never in his UFC career. He's got this wide boxing stance. Obviously, there's a puncher's chance, but as soon as Islam grabs a hold of him, I think it's going to be over. You're fighting someone who's an orthodox boxer. It's not that hard to time a shot to the legs, and I'm sure Ilia is a really good grappler, really good black belt, but I think Islam's just going to be too strong, too powerful, and it's going to submit Ilia Topuria.
To Brown, Rampage's reputation is the only thing making people hesitate. He went on to say that if this were anyone else, the response would be simple: lock him up and be done with it. Brown also noted that the video footage leaves little room for doubt, making...
I hear nothing but great things about Ilia's grappling and his wrestling. So if he lives up to the hype around his grappling and his wrestling, then I got to go with him 100%.
And you think he does? You think he can beat Islam?
Well, you know, if the hype is real about his wrestling and his grappling and his strength that I've heard, then if I go with that as truth, then yeah, I think he beats him.
Since Roger kept landing shots on someone who was already unconscious, Brown suggested that prosecutors could realistically pursue attempted murder or something very close to it.